else. He just had this energy. He was a ball of fire.
Everything he did, it was exciting, it was loud, it was impactful, it was in your face.
When you say his name, you just know it brings back your childhood, makes you feel happy and appreciative of what he did for you as a fan. Warrior's awesome because he was unlike anyone else. He was strong and fast and unmatched when it came to sheer power. He did things that were just spectacular.
And he looked like a superhero. He sprinted to the ring and shook the ropes. It was all crazy. I mean, he was just awesome. It was fun to watch.
He had a lot of very quick and very fast-paced matches.
I mean, the greatest Ultimate Warrior matches are a minute long. Ding, 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 boom, 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 1, 2, 3, see you bye. You blink and the match is done. He's on the ropes. Just out there, explosive. His matches were not necessarily the longest, but some of the most impactful that the industry has ever seen.
We tried to capture that. We did that with a lot of quick time events and things that kind of push the player through and let them enjoy the experience of Warrior's quick, fast wrestling style. You get to play in championship versus championship matches and steel cage matches and 2-on-3 matches.
Beat Macho Man Randy Savage WrestleMania 7 to retire him.
That was one of the most memorable matches, in my opinion, in the history of the WWE.
Beat Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania. That was hard for Hulkamania by himself to take. We have a body bag match with Undertaker that I think is going to be really fun to play as well.
And Warrior again going after The Undertaker. Another power! Are you kidding me? As a kid, I grew up the biggest Ultimate Warrior fan. I used to paint my face, streamers on my arms, run around the house and bullying my mom.
Being able to really focus on him this year was a huge goal, especially in light of his passing last year. We really wanted to honor him. There's no one else like the Ultimate Warrior. Even the rip-offs have never even come close. He was a genuine article, and I feel like the showcase does a great job of bringing that to you.
This showcase is 100% a tribute to the Warrior, his life, his great achievements. He's an icon to all of us.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed your Easter weekends. I'm sure it was busy for a lot of you as well. Or as I say when Billy is around, assiduous weekend. He doesn't like the word busy. But, not busy enough to where I didn't see TNA. I ended up watching on Saturday. Here to talk about it on Monday. A lot going on with TNA right now. Obviously, Kurt Angle being the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, I feel has been somewhat overshadowed by the successful, in most people's eyes, WrestleMania, and the Raw after Mania, at least the first 2 hours most people agree on. But there is a lot of good stuff going on in TNA, and if you aren't watching it, I mean, like I said, it's a Friday night show. I get it. I've got a lot of Friday nights where I can't watch it either, so I set my DVR. I've got my DVR set to record the series, so I don't even have to think about it. It just records it. And you just find time to sit down and watch it. You can fast forward the commercials and all that, but, so yeah, let's talk about it. So this was billed as Impact Bell to Bell. And I was like, is it just going to be pure wrestling, no talking the whole way through? No, that wouldn't be the case, but I like the way they hyped up the matches for the show. And I don't know, I know some of you are into the anime stuff. I'm too old. I didn't even get the Power Rangers thing. I was more of a Ninja Turtles era type guy, the original Ninja Turtles movie. Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling, etc. But what I thought it reminded me of, and you guys let me know what you think, the little cartoon I don't even know what you call it, but the cartoon graphics reminded me of Street Fighter. Yeah, Street Fighter 2. You guys let me know what you think that reminded you of, because, hey, I don't disparage people for liking what they like. Maybe one of you are going to compare it to one of those anime shows, which, again, I self-admittedly know nothing about. So let me know in the comment section what you thought about that. I thought it was pretty cool. Someone had to take the time to create that. It looked pretty neat. So it starts out with an Eric Young promo, and he talks about all good things coming to an end, and says he's going to write the final chapter to Bobby Roode's career. He says history is written by the winners, and he's going to write Roode's final chapter. He says this will be the last sad story in his sad, pathetic career. And Bobby Roode comes on. Of course, Roode, you talking to me? You talking to me? He responds to EY's comments by running down their history. Roode says EY cost him the title, tried to end his career, but Roode beat him in a steel cage and was the last man standing. Roode brings up EY saying as long as he's still breathing, he won't let Roode get another championship. And Roode says, tonight, this ends forever. EY says he's going to do whatever it takes. He's going to make Roode submit. He's going to break his will. And he says tonight he's going to make Roode tap. And Roode's like, tap! Submit! You want a submission match? You got it! Here's one of the problems with this. Let me finish this. Roode says he's going to make EY's ass tap, and he's going to make EY cry like the little bitch he is. Alright, Roode's the man. Roode's one of my favorites in wrestling. But when it pertains to this, it's like, okay, TNA has been pumping this up as being a submissions match, but right here, they make this submission match. And I understand that most of us are supposed to rhetorically get that TNA is filmed, not live. But I wish they would stop doing little things like that. If you were going to have two guys make a submissions match on the TV show, don't talk about that beforehand. It's almost a spoiler. And I would rather just see it happen as it happens on the TV show. So that's one gripe that I really have with TNA right now. They've been putting home run shows on for nearly a year now, getting close to a year. Started after Slammiversary last year. But one of the problems I have is they keep fucking spoiling shit. This wasn't a big one. It's not like some deal breaker or should TNA be looked down upon because of it, but at the same time, it's like, dude, a lot of us go to great lengths to avoid TNA spoilers, and then they spoil stuff themselves. So we get this EY versus Roode submissions match. Roode takes the upper hand with a backdrop. He sends EY out of the ring, works him over on the floor, sends him back into the ring, and EY cuts Roode off as he's getting in the ring. EY runs at Roode in the corner. Roode moves. EY lands on the top turnbuckle. Roode kicks him off, and EY crotches the top rope. Roode follows that up by drop kicking EY to the floor. Well, EY cuts Roode off again, sends him back in the ring, and EY starts getting some offense in on Roode. Roode goes for the arm trap crossface, but EY gets to the ropes and bails. So Roode clotheslines EY from behind in the aisle and puts the arm trap crossface on, and the ref's like, hey, the submission doesn't matter here. So Roode lets it go. We get a Roode float over spot. He floats over EY in the corner in the ring, and then he starts selling a knee injury. And this would be a big story of the match, was Roode selling a knee injury. Roode hits a blockbuster but keeps selling the knee. Roode takes a boot in the corner. EY runs at Roode, and Roode hits a spine buster. Clearly a fan of Arn Anderson. He's a throwback guy. At this point, we get a Roode selling the knee, but we get a commercial. Okay, after the commercial, Roode lays in punches on EY in the corner. EY EY pushes Rude off. Rude goes right back to selling the knee, and EY puts Rude in a leg lock. Some people are calling it a leg lace. If you look up what a leg lace is, and I say some people like Taz and then other announcers, if you look up what a leg lace is, and Taz is usually very good with his terminology, and I enjoy that about his commentary, but just do a YouTube search for leg lace. And you'll see in amateur wrestling, you use both legs to roll a guy over. It's a leg lock, okay, a leg bar, a knee bar. I wouldn't call it a heel hook because of the position of the forearm, but anyhow, details. EY continues attacking the leg on the floor. He wraps Rude's leg around the post and puts him in a standing figure 4 variation around the post where he used his arms instead of his legs. He didn't go Bret Hart on it, but so at this point, EY runs at a fan and threatens to punch him. But for the record, this big dude who was standing there with his kid, or his nephew, or whoever, didn't even flinch. So kudos to that guy, the big guy. So they get back in the ring. EY goes for a drop kick, but Rude holds the ropes. Rude goes for a Boston Crab. EY kicks him off. EY comes running in, and Rude traps the arm and puts on the arm trap crossface. EY works it, sells it, and then gets the rope break.
If you're a smoker, I have a tip for you. Make a video of yourself before all this happens. Read a children's storybook or sing a lullaby. I wish I had. The only voice my grandson's ever heard is this one.
You can quit. Talk with your doctor. For more help, call 1-866-NY-QUITS.
Break. Rude hits EY with the double A, puts the Boston Crab on. Now here's where I thought Rude was killing it with the psychology with the knee, but why are you going to do an arm trap crossface and then a Boston Crab? It didn't make much sense, psychology-wise. You pick one part of the body and attack it, you know. EY crawls to the ropes, gets the rope break. EY grabs Rude's tights and sends him out of the ring. EY sends Rude headfirst into the ring steps. He lays Rude on the stairs and drives Rude's knee into the stairs. They get back in the ring. Rude lays in some chops. They start trading punches. EY reverses the whip and Rude collapses on the left knee. And I'm like, Rude ain't winning this. With as hard as he's selling that knee. EY puts Rude in the figure 4. Rude inverts the figure 4. But EY comes in for another figure 4. Rude pushes him off. EY runs into the ref, so you get the ref bump. Rude puts him in the arm trap crossface. EY taps out, but the ref doesn't see it. Rude protests to the ref that, look, he tapped! He tapped, you stupid son of a bitch! It's not what he said, but that's Rude's attitude. EY hits a leg lariat. He puts Rude back in the figure 4. Rude yells at EY, and I think he said, fuck you! I think he did. And Rude taps out. So Rude takes the protected loss. I like the match. I like the psychology with the knee. It was a throwback, old school style match. It was good. You know, a good match to start the show. I'm enjoying these two guys' feud. And Bobby Roode's the man. And so is EY. He was pretty good too. So Lashley and Angle are shown arriving at the Impact Zone. Some people might say, so what? So what? They're shown arriving. You don't see that in the other company. You know, these guys are shown arriving to the building that they're going to compete in. You know, it's still pro wrestling. And it's these little details that TNA throws in there for a title match of this magnitude that add a special feel to the main event. And it makes TNA seem, at the very least, like they actually care about making these title matches feel like a huge deal, by going the extra mile, throwing in all the details, and as a viewer of their product, I appreciate that. You know, I think there's so much that this company does right. Will they ever truly get over? I have my doubts. But at the same time, as a loyal viewer who doesn't miss an episode, I appreciate that. Alright, so next the Wolves come out to the ring. And Eddie Edwards is on crutches. And an x-ray is shown of Eddie Edwards having a cracked bone in his heel. Eddie talks about his injury almost in an emotional fashion. There was some heckler in the crowd making fun of him. That's wrestling! And the rest of the crowd made up for that idiot by chanting Eddie Edwards. Eddie says he's going to be out for a long time, and the Wolves will not be able to defend their championships. Morash asks Davey about his tag team partner, and that lone idiot again starts chanting CM Punk. Well, I don't know. If that lone idiot's viewing this video, no offense, but what the fuck, dude? Davey talks about them being like family. He proceeds to talk about their time in Japan, Mexico, and says they do it because they're the best tag team in the world. He starts talking about Wolves Nation, and I'm thinking to myself, damn, Davey Richards is cutting by far his best promo in TNA right here. Davey says they agree to relinquish the World Tag Team titles. He places the tag titles in separate corners. He says whatever team is holding the World Tag Team titles, when Eddie gets better, they will hunt them down, they will capture them, and they will tear them to shreds. Davey said no matter what, they will get back, spit in your face, because this hunt never dies. Where did this fucking come from, you know? I thought Davey cut, good grief, one of his best promos of his entire career, even the promos that I've seen before TNA. And yeah, it sucks that they had to drop the titles, but they'll be back before you know it, you know? It's too bad because I would assume that TNA is paying these guys pretty good. As far as I know, they're on a year-to-year contract, so hopefully they don't get cold feet with the Wolves, but, you know, if they could make them a staple of the company, like Bad Influence had become, you know, that's a good thing, because these guys can get in the ring and go. They're pretty cool. You know, they wrestled more of an MMA strong style before TNA. I would like to see them bring more of that into the TNA ring, but I'm a fan of the Wolves, so I'm just looking forward to when they come back, and that's about that. So Christy Hemme interviews Lashley. Lashley said his whole life has been motivation. And if you've ever listened to one of this guy's interviews outside of kayfabe, cool dude, man. He says when he wants something, he goes after it. When he gets knocked down, he gets back up. You knock him down once you try knocking me down. Rocky 5 reference. He says Angle beat him. He's not crying about it. He's just going to pick himself back up. He says Angle has something that belongs to him, and he will get it back tonight. Okay. Yeah, at WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar fucking destroyed Roman Reigns. Yes, Brock Lesnar destroyed John Cena at SummerSlam. I loved those matches. But this feud between Angle and Lashley, when they had Bobby Roode involved at the top, we've been getting some amazing matches. Remember the Lashley-Austin Aries match? Lashley, Jeff Hardy. The TNA World Heavyweight Championship matches, quality-wise, the best that I watch. Someone may bring up New Japan, someone may bring up ROH or Lucha or whatever. I watch TNA and WWE. It's that simple. That's all I have time for. I barely have time to keep up with everything. You know, I also watch the NBA and MMA and boxing. So, right now, between WWE and TNA, since those are the shows that I watch, I do watch a little ROH. I don't review it, though. By far, these title matches have been better. When you're talking per match average, because there's only 2 matches with I guess the Royal Rumble title match was pretty good, too. But, for the most part, TNA is consistently putting on better World Heavyweight Championship matches when you talk about consistency. Do I like seeing Lesnar fuck up Cena? Yeah. Reigns? Yes. But, I'm sorry, you know, Lashley to to me, has changed the way I perceive him with his run in TNA, and he's proven to be a consummate professional in that wrestling ring. Not that he wasn't before, that's just the way I feel now. So next we get an Angelina Love. Oh, good grief. Angelina Love promo. She talked about her Knockouts championship. She said she's a great wrestler, and that's where I literally lost interest in everything else she said. Great wrestler? No, I don't think so. No. Too many shitty matches. So we get Angelina Love against Gail Kim. On commentary, Taz and Josh Matthews proceeded to argue over who's the best wrestler in the company. Taz's argument was that the champion isn't always the best wrestler, and Josh argued the opposite. Kayfabe-wise, I like Josh's argument. As far as doing a podcast or something, I like Taz's argument. In the ring, Angelina was actually putting on a pretty good show, wrestling-wise. I got to give it to her. But of course, it's with Gail Kim, who makes them all look like they can wrestle. But I got to give some credit to her here. So after having the offense for most of the match, Angelina gets cut off by Gail Kim.
How much does tobacco really cost? Emily is only 7, but she already knows. Last year, smoking cost Emily her mom. You can quit smoking. Talk with your doctor.
Who sends her into the side of the ring. They get back into the ring. They trade shots. Gail gets the upper hand. Gail goes to the top rope. It's a missile drop kick, 2 count. She got some really good height on that. I'm sure that felt great when she landed. And that part I'm being sarcastic about. Gail Kim goes for a top rope head scissors takedown. Angelina doesn't catch her, and Gail comes down pretty hard on the canvas. And you could hear a guy start chanting Botchamania. Maybe the same guy from earlier, so he kind of redeemed himself here. Yeah, good job. You know, it was actually a pretty good match, and you just don't catch her. So Angelina hits her Botox injection finisher, but Gail gets a rope break on the pinfall attempt. Gail Kim hits her eat defeat finisher and gets the win. So yeah, the match started to fall apart a little bit towards the end, but it was a better match than I expected considering that Angelina Love was in it, so I give him credit where credit's due. I enjoyed it, and Gail Kim to me is the best female wrestler of all time. So we see the cast of Ghost Asylum with the Revolution, and by that I mean James Storm, Abyss, and Koya, and they investigate James Storm's barn. You guys might remember that famous barn where he took Manic hostage, and he takes these guys hostage, and who knows what the fuck he does to them, kayfabe-wise, in that barn. But James Storm talks about feeling a presence in the barn where he tortured Manic and the guys he brought in Revolution. But so this ghost hunting team starts investigating James Storm's barn for EVPs and whatever. And Josh Matthews says next week we'll find out what their investigation revealed in James Storm's barn. Yeah, definitely different. And as a fan of Ghost Adventures, the show Ghost Adventures, not Ghost Asylum, but Ghost Adventures, it'll be interesting to see what they fabricate kayfabe-wise is in this barn next week. Because I could not see Zach Bagans and the Ghost Adventures crew agreeing to do this and fabricating something when whether what they collect as evidence is real or not, only they know. Let's be honest here. They have done a lot to try to build their credibility over with Ghost Adventures. I don't know about this Ghost Asylum cast. I remember there was this one ghost hunting show called Taps, I think it was, where they got exposed bad for being fake. But we'll see how it goes. But just as a fan, as a fan of the Ghost Adventures show, I'm interested in it. So next we get Brandon Magnus highlights of their feud, awesome video package. And we get Bram versus Magnus Falls Count Anywhere match. So Magnus sends Bram to the floor. He hits a running soccer kick from the apron. They fight outside the ring. Magnus works over Bram. He beats him up the rampway. Bram cuts Magnus off and teases a powerbomb on the stage. You remember that one that he gave to Magnus a couple weeks ago? Ooh, ouch. But Magnus backdrops Bram onto the rampway. Magnus sets Bram up for a pile driver. Bram blocks it and hits Magnus with a low blow. Bram body slams Magnus on the stage and works over Magnus and sends Magnus back into the ring. Magnus hits a back elbow, a missile drop kick from old Magnus, and Bram cuts him right back off with a spinning back leg lariat. Bram jabs a steel chair into the back and chest of Magnus. Magnus bails from the ring. Bram goes to send Magnus into the ring post. Magnus reverses the whip and Bram takes the ring post head first. As Magnus is coming in, Bram ducks the misdirection clothesline, and Magnus hits him with the clothesline after that, after coming off the opposite end of the ring, the ropes. Josh Matthews sold it as being a stalemate so far between the two, and we get a commercial. And that's exactly what it was. They were both getting offense in. They were playing it even, Steven. Good stuff. So after the commercial, Bram has the upper hand. They start trading punches. Magnus gets the upper hand, and it's a tornado DDT, and now Mickie James comes out. Magnus tells Mickie to leave. She says no, and Bram hits Magnus with a steel chair shot to the back off the distraction. Bram opens up the steel chair. He wraps it around Magnus's head and sends him into the turnbuckle and corner post. Pretty cool. Bram sets Magnus on the ring stairs. He measures for a headshot with the steel chair and starts going after Mickie James instead. Mickie rolls into the ring. Bram follows her in with the steel chair. And James Storm? Gets in the ring. Says, you want to hit a woman? You hit me. I think all of us were just sitting there watching this going, what? What the hell? All of a sudden, Storm's going to be a face? That's what I was thinking at the time. Caught me off guard, but Magnus hits Bram with a clothesline to the back of the head. Magnus hits the spine shaker. Bram kicks out at 2. Magnus comes over to grab Bram from the apron. Bram hits Magnus with a chair shot to the head. And Bram gets a 2 count off that. Bram sets up the chair in the middle of the ring. He goes for the DDT. Magnus reverses it and teases a spine shaker. But Bram reverses that and hits the brighter side of suffering, elevated DDT. Bram kicks the chair out of the ring. Magnus starts fighting back with strikes. Magnus picks Bram up for a powerbomb, second powerbomb, and he hits the spine shaker finish, and Magnus gets an emphatic win over Bram. Wow. 2 powerbombs and the spine shaker. Damn good match, man. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. The James Storm part was like, what? But the match itself was enjoyable. Good shit.
If you're a smoker, I have a tip for you. Make a video of yourself before all this happens. Read a children's storybook or sing a lullaby. I wish I had. The only voice my grandson's ever heard is this one.
You can quit. Talk with your doctor. For more help, call 1-866-NY-QUITS.
So Jeremy Borash interviews Kurt Angle. Angle says Lashley is the most dominant wrestler he's ever faced. And some people were probably thinking, you put him over Brock, huh? He says their first match was a dream match, the first time they faced each other. He says he knows he's in for a war, and so is Lashley. And he says it's been over 3 years since he's had the title. He's not going to let it go now. He says there's nobody better than Kurt Angle. Oh, it's real. It's damn real. And I gotta tell you, man, I really like having Kurt Angle as champion. I mean, let's face it. What's his actual age? Let me pull it up. 46 years old. There's only so much more tread on those tires. You know what I'm saying? And for a guy of his stature to still be able to work at the level he does at this age, he's amazing. But this may be his last title run as far as being a world heavyweight champion anyway, let's face it. So I'm just going to sit back and fucking enjoy it as an Angle fan. So we get Magnus backstage with Mickey, and then James Storm is back there, and Magnus asks Storm why did he do that. And then Storm says he knows Magnus was busy in the ring, and he was just trying to help out an old friend. Magnus is like, what, you and James Storm? What? You and the beer drinker? You know. So now it makes sense. Are they going to go with James Storm being an ex-fling or whatever? I don't know. I hope it doesn't get too soap opera-ish, but we'll see. So apparently this is the direction they're going to go with Magnus post-Bram. I would assume. Could be wrong. So next we get Kurt Angle and Bobby Lashley highlights, you know, from their title match, and it was a classic. That title match was a classic. When you've got two legit ass kickers like Lashley and Angle involved in a championship match, to me, suspension of disbelief, duh, because these guys are accomplished athletes, accomplished shit kickers. One's an Olympic gold medalist. One's got an accomplished amateur background. He was in the military, and he's 12-2 as an MMA fighter. I mean, again, suspend disbelief. Well, no shit. I mean, who wouldn't like to see the real fight between these two guys? So we get this TNA World Heavyweight Championship match as the main event between Lashley and Angle. So TNA showed each guy backstage before their ring walk, which is, it's always a signal that this is a big-time match. So the match starts with some nice amateur-style wrestling between the two. Lashley hits a big shoulder block. You get a collar and elbow tie-up, hammerlock, headlock from Lashley. Angle sends him off. Another tackle from Lashley, and Angle bails from the ring. Like, damn, this dude's a beast, you know. Good start to the match. So we go back to the mat wrestling. They wrestle to a virtual stalemate. We get Angle sidestepping a tackle, and Angle delivers a nice belly-to-belly overhead suplex. And Angle hits a nice German suplex. Angle hits Lashley with a clothesline and sends Lashley to the floor. Lashley's got this look on his face like, damn. And then Lashley pulls Angle out of the ring, and Lashley hits a clothesline on Angle on the floor and gains control. Lashley sends Angle face first into the apron, drives some shoulders into Angle in the corner. Lashley puts on a bear hug, and Taz explains the strength of a butterfly grip, which again, I was talking about the leg lace thing earlier. But Taz is usually pretty good with his terminology. I'm not a fan of the bear hug, though, I will say that. Angle fights out of it, and Lashley hits him with a knee lift for a 2 count. Lashley grabs Angle from behind. Angle fights out of it and whips Lashley into the corner. Angle follows him in, and Angle takes a boot. Lashley gets a 2 count, and we get a commercial break. So very good start to the match, back and forth. Exactly what you'd want to see out of guys with such a great amateur background, bringing the amateur elements into it. I fucking loved it. So after a commercial, Lashley still has the upper hand. Lashley hits Angle with a nice vertical suplex for a 2 count. It was a really solid vertical. Lashley whips Angle into the ropes. Angle holds the ropes. Lashley runs at Angle, and Angle backdrops Lashley to the floor. They start trading punches back and forth. Angle ducks a punch and lays in a German suplex with a bridge. Angle goes to deliver another, but Lashley fights out of it. with back elbows and catches Angle with a nice spine buster. So now these guys are fucking slamming each other around. It's getting really good. Angle ducks another punch, and this time Angle hits 2 German suplexes before Lashley gets to the ropes and delivers a back elbow. Lashley verticals over Angle and catches Angle with a nice power slam. Lashley sets up a spear. Angle sidesteps him, and Angle hits a belly to belly, and then he delivers the 3 German suplexes. So, all of these suplexes from Kurt Angle can only mean one thing. It was Suplex City, bitch. And by the way, the originator of Suplex City in my world, Taz and ECW. Okay? Taz knows a little bit about suplexes. Taz, Angle, Brock, they'll all take you to Suplex City. Angle hits the Angle slam and Lashley kicks out at 2. Angle pops the straps down, puts the ankle lock on. Lashley rolls through, sends Angle to the floor. Lashley whips Angle into the ring stairs, drives him head first into the ring stairs 3 times. Lashley sends Angle face first into the ring apron. He beats on him. Lashley hits Angle with a hangman on the barricade and a clothesline on the floor. One little element that I liked here, the referee gets his count to 9, and Lashley rolls in the ring and rolls back out so he can keep beating him up. So the little things, man. Lashley sends Angle back into the ring. Lashley
You've been spending a lot of time at your auntie house. How's the couch life? Got my woman and my baby living there. It's hard, man. But you know, everybody can't do what you do. Really, what I do is getting played out, Dre. Where the money at? Why you gotta be so ruthless, cuz? Gotta make a few changes. Where you think you going? I'm just trying to get home. That's my thing. Get back in the house, or I can ruin your night. I gotta talk to my mom like that. You got to change. Change the situation. Would you take it? Just hit that first speed hard. Alright, you cruising down the street. Alright. Cruising down the street in my 6'4". Hey, that was dope, dude. You're listening to Compton's very own Ice Cube, Eazy-E, and Dr. Dre. I gotta tell you, you are witnessing history. People are scared of you guys. You have a unique voice. The world needs to hear it. They want NWA? Let's give them NWA. Straight out of Compton. Crazy motherfucking Ice Cube. This is only the tip of the iceberg, gentlemen. What's going on? What do you have in that bag? Are you kidding me? You can't take that in the bus. When I'm called off, I got a sawed off. Put your finger in your body's off. This song glamorized gangs and drugs. Our art is a reflection of our reality. You guys supposed to be somewhere? These are artists. Rap is not an art.
You cannot come down here and harass my clients because of what they look like.
I promise you, it's going to be different from here on out. Listen, to be honest with you, I don't know anything about hip-hop, but I know that you're special. You want to be involved with this gangster life? Here we go. Speaking of the truth, and people lose their mind. This isn't the Crips and Bloods. This is a threat from the federal government. They trying to tell us what we can't play. This ain't W.A. Yo, Clay, what up? I got something to say. We can keep going, man. We can take over the goddamn world. Believe a memory, no one of me forgetting. So as I leave, believe I'm stomping. But when I come back, boy, I'm coming straight out of time to rock.
Lashley picks Angle up for a delayed vertical suplex, and the crowd starts counting, and the crowd gets to 15 before he finally drops Angle to the canvas. I'm fucking just sitting there like kid in a candy store watching this match. You know, like I said, 2 badasses wrestling a very realistic match, and fuck, man, wish they could all be like this. Lashley sets up the spear. Angle was bleeding from the back of his head, I don't know from what. And Lashley hits, I mean, a fucking brutal spear on Angle. Brutal spear. Crushed him. and Angle did his infamous kick out at 2 7/8, kick out at 2. The crowd starts chanting TNA, and like I said, this match was amazing. Lashley went to the top rope, Angle cuts him off, and Angle hits an angle slam off the top rope. It wasn't a great angle slam. These guys are all lathered up, probably just kind of slipped off. Lashley kicks out at 2 from the super angle slam. Angle goes to the top rope and goes for his moonsault, and of course Lashley moves, because throughout his career he usually misses that. Lashley moves, and Lashley puts Kurt Angle in the ankle lock. The crowd is freaking the fuck out, right? No, don't tap out. Angle rolls through. Lashley takes the buckles, and Angle rolls Lashley up for a 3 count and a win. Oh, man. Here's the thing, though. Lashley's left shoulder was up. I'm watching him like his left shoulder was up. I'm pretty sure that was by design, because it leaves the door open for a third match between the two. They kept the title on Angle, protected Lashley with that shoulder up finish, but whatever, man. You know, the way these two guys have been great champions, and that's why this is what I'm talking about. When someone goes, well, Joe Schmo and Bob Doe had a great match in Indie-rific, whatever. That's why I don't get into the indies, because I have a lot of respect for what those guys are trying to achieve with their career. There's a couple, well, I'm sure there's viewers that haven't reached out to me and told me, there's more than a couple. There's a few Blitz team members who wrestle in the indies currently, and they give me updates on how their career is going and things of that nature. I respect that. Okay? I respect that. But what I'm saying is, as a viewer, I want to see two shit-kicking badasses like Kurt Angle and Bobby Lashley do their thing for the fucking title. Like, these guys right here, if they were to get in a street fight, would probably fuck up 99.9% of their opponents. And that's that realism that these guys bring to the table, and it makes a main event like this even better, in my book. That's just the way I feel. You know, Roman Reigns, yeah, he was an accomplished college football player. Brock Lesnar's Brock Lesnar. Still love to see a Brock Lesnar-Bobby Lashley MMA fight. But, you know, those are two athletes. To me, it makes it better when you've got two athletes going at it in the ring, and that's what Angle and Lashley are. You're not going to find a match in wrestling today with two guys more accomplished than this. So enjoy it, my friends. Because there will come times, and there have been many times, where guys in the main event don't have a shred of an athletic background. You know, and me, I'm a fucking fan of sports. You know, Kurt Angle and Bobby Lashley are the shit. Blows away that Roman Reigns motherfucker. But my overall show rating, I gotta give the show an 8 out of a 10. I mean, it felt like a 7 out of 10 show going into the main event for me. But that main event moved it up to an 8 out of 10. I can't wait to see Angle Lashley 3 if we get it. I'm sorry, there's got to be a 3rd, 4th, 5th. Give me 10 matches this year with these guys. It'll never get old. But great show overall. Great show. That's my thoughts on it. So, pick up a subscription to BlitzSportsNetwork.com right now. You get this review ad-free over there. But also news and rumors, all sorts of other stuff on there. Almost 1,000 wrestling videos. It's getting crazy. You can get on the air with me and sound off on your thoughts that week. Q&A. Oh, ball of wax, man. Subscribe to the channel. A big thank you if you already have. Like the video below if you enjoyed it. I always appreciate that. And, hey, TNA fans, we take shit from WWE fans, ROH fans, New Japan fans, whatever. I take shit from MG. I give it right back. We take shit for being TNA fans, but fuck it, man. When you get an 8 out of 10 show, who fucking cares what they think? It's awesome. Alright, everyone, I'm out. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.